Welcome to this explainer on market momentum. Go ahead and fire up that terminal dark mode session, because today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating layers of market analysis. We're going to completely dissect the anatomy of market momentum by looking closely at the rate of change indicator. Let's kick things off with a question that's probably frustrated, well, pretty much every market participant at some point. How do traders know when a stock is running out of gas before the price actually drops? I mean, have you ever bought an asset that was shooting straight up to the moon only to have it completely reverse on you the very next day? Yeah, it happens, right? And it happens because we often misread momentum. We buy based on where the price is sitting right now, instead of actually evaluating the underlying energy that's driving that price in the first place. So to solve this problem, we need a quantitative solution. Enter the rate of change indicator, or as traders usually call it, the ROC. Developed way back in the 1950s by Fred G. Schutzman, it's what we call a pure momentum oscillator. It measures the percentage change in price from one period to the next, which essentially reveals the actual speed of those price changes. Think of it like looking down at the speedometer of the financial markets. To upgrade your charting toolkit today, we're going to cover 5 main areas: decoding the rate of change, the ROC formula, interpreting trading signals, spotting trend divergences, and finally, limitations in risk management. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, decoding rate of change, speed versus direction. Think about market trends like you're out driving a car. The price action simply tells you which direction the car is traveling. Is it going up the hill or down the hill? But momentum, which is exactly what the ROC measures, well, that's the speedometer. It tells you if that car is accelerating as it climbs, or if it's kind of taking its foot off the gas and decelerating, even while it's still moving forward. Now, notice how the ROC translates that speed into an actual visual structure. It fluctuates above and below a central zero line. Positive values simply mean prices are rising and momentum is pushing upward, while negative values mean prices are falling. But here's a really fascinating structural quirk about this. There is absolutely no upward boundary to this indicator, because technically, a security's price can rise infinitely, right? So the ROC can just keep expanding upward forever. However, it does have a strict downside limit of negative 100%, simply because an asset's price can only drop to zero. Moving on to Section 2, the ROC formula, popping the hood on the math. Okay, I know the math might look a little daunting at first glance, but it's actually super simple. The ROC equals the current price minus the price n periods ago. You then take that result, divide it by the price n periods ago, and multiply the whole thing by 100 to get a clean percentage. Now that n variable, that is incredibly important. It represents our chosen look-back period, which entirely dictates how sensitive the indicator is going to be. For example, a really short period like 7 days is highly sensitive, perfect for short-term trading, while a longer, say 200-day period, really smooths out all that day-to-day noise to show you the long-term trends. Let's actually feed some raw data into this formula so we can see exactly how it digests those price inputs. Let's say we choose a 10-day look-back period. 10 days ago, which acts as day 0 for our math here, our stock closed at $48.75. Today, on day 10, the current closing price sits at $52.50. So, when we run those numbers, subtracting $48.75 from $52.50, dividing that by $48.75, and then multiplying by 100, we get 7.69%. And because this is a positive percentage, it proves mathematically that the stock's momentum is actually accelerating upward over this specific 10-day window. All right, let's get into Section 3, interpreting trading signals, driving the terminal. At its absolute most basic level, interpreting the ROC is all about tracking crossovers of that central zero line we mentioned earlier. When the ROC indicator moves from negative territory up into positive territory, boom, it triggers a bullish crossover signal. That indicates upward momentum is officially taking over. Conversely, if it drops from positive down into negative, well, that triggers a bearish crossover, telling us that downward momentum is now in the driver's seat. But here is where you really need to pay attention, because the ROC doesn't behave quite like other indicators. If you've ever used the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, you're used to those standard overbought and oversold zones hard-coded at 70 and 30. Well, the ROC doesn't have fixed boundaries like that. Traders actually have to customize these thresholds based entirely on the specific asset's historical volatility. So, for a highly stable utility stock, an ROC reading of plus or minus 5% might signal extreme overbought or oversold conditions. But if you're looking at a crazy volatile asset like a cryptocurrency, you might need to set those boundaries way out at plus or minus 15 or even 20%. Now for Section 4, spotting trend divergences, when speed and direction disagree. Okay, listen up, because this is arguably the most advanced concept we're covering today, and honestly, it's where the real predictive power of the ROC indicator is hiding. A divergence occurs when the price of an asset and the ROC indicator stop agreeing with each other. Literally, they start moving in opposite directions. When speed and direction disagree like that, it acts as a massive blinking warning sign for potential trend reversal. It's the market telling us that the underlying momentum is no longer supporting the visible price action. Let's map out exactly what a bearish divergence looks like in the wild. Step 1, you see the stock price hit a brand new higher high. Everything looks fantastic to the average buyer. But then, step 2, you look down at your ROC indicator, and wait a second, it's hit a lower high than its previous peak. Step 3, this tells you that even though the price went up, it did so with way less energy than before. The upward momentum is dying out. That right there is a bearish divergence. And let me tell you, it is a classic trap for anyone buying at the top. Now, let's just flip that logic and look at a bullish divergence. Step 1. The price drops to a new, pretty terrifying lower low. Panicked sellers are bailing out left and right. But step 2, your ROC indicator actually prints a higher low. Interesting, right? Step 3, this reveals that the downward momentum is actually waning. The selling pressure is exhausting itself. Smart traders use this exact setup to spot underlying strength and get ready for a reversal upward, even while the price is officially still dropping. Which brings us to Section 5, limitations and risk management, navigating system warnings. We've seen the serious power of this indicator, but look, no technical indicator is flawless, not a single one. So here is a rapid-fire breakdown of the ROC's vulnerabilities. First, in choppy, sideways markets, it is going to generate false signals, often called whipsaws, crossing that zero line over and over to your detriment. Second, because it fundamentally requires historical data to calculate, it inherently lags behind actual real-time price movements. And third, just because of how the formula is built, it gives equal weight to the current price today and the price N periods ago. That means it completely ignores all the crazy price action that might have occurred in between those 2 points. All of that brings us to the absolute golden rule of technical analysis. The ROC is best used in conjunction with other technical and fundamental analysis tools to increase its reliability and effectiveness. You've got to pair the ROC with things like moving averages to confirm trends, volume to confirm participation, or key support and resistance levels. Also, keep in mind that in a really strong sustained trend, the ROC can actually just hang out in overbought or oversold territory for really long durations. Bottom line, never trade on the ROC alone. So, we've totally upgraded your analytical toolkit today by decoding the ROC indicator. You now know exactly how to measure the actual speed of the market, not just its direction. I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Take this knowledge, open up your own charts, and ask yourself this. If you applied the ROC indicator to your own portfolio right now, is your momentum accelerating or are you running out of gas? Check the math, spot the divergences, and let the data guide you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.